Hello everyone, and welcome to a tutorial about how to create assignment number 7 for the digital image design course for Insight Schools of Kansas. Up here on the screen right now I have kind of the rubric for the assignment for you. Make sure you look at the rubric and follow the directions to make sure that everything's turned in before you turn in your assignment. Again, with this assignment there's 2 required files. You'll want to turn in project 7 and assignment number 7. So make sure that you turn in both of these. Here's the rubric for project 7. It's worth 12.5 points, and here's the rubric for assignment 7, which is worth 12.5 points. They are identical assignments, identical requirements. Just make sure you use 2 different pictures. So all you're going to have to do is open up an image and make a mask, create a mask, put a filter on it, and then show that the other image or the other part that's been masked is not filtered anymore. So if you don't know what masks are, you're going to find out throughout our course today when we get started in GIMP. Here I have GIMP loaded up, and go to your resource folder to open it up. Mine happens to be on a flash drive called Lexar. Then I go to my profiles, my name, which is going to be your name. Yours is probably under your C drive. Again, mine's under Mr. Ranking, GIMP Resources, and this is Project 7. So when that opens, just click to Project 7. And I'm going to use the first image. I kind of thought that was a neat one to work with, and works really well. So that's going to be my first assignment. Now there's a lot of different ways to select. You have a pen tool, which is this one. You also have a rectangle tool, the ellipse tool, and a free select tool. You also have a fuzzy select tool. It all depends on what you're going to select. I prefer this pen tool, which creates paths, especially for an object like this. Now if I was doing something that was a circle, like there's a marble one, then I might want to use this ellipse tool, because I can just click and drag a perfect circle or a nice circle. But for this one, since it's got a little bit different edges, I'm going to show you how to use the pen tool. So with this on design and polygonal not selected, I'm just going to go along the edge of this. Now I can click here and I can go clear to here, and as long as I have handlebars I can drag that out. See my blue line there, how it selects along that? So I follow that nice curve right there. Then I click again and I can drag that clear down to maybe pick up that much of it. I'm going to pick there. Everywhere I click is going to create what's called an anchor point. Anchor points are just where I've decided it needs to change. And these are so tight in here that I'm just going to go along like this. Now if I click and drag is when you get those what are called handlebars, and you can curve it. That's when I click and drag. But if I just click, I can just go along the edge like this and select. I'm going to go clear over here and show you how to click and drag, and I just go back in and click there. If I don't like what it did there, I'm going to undo that, go back even another one. Maybe I just click part of the way, click again around here. Now the tough part on this one would happen to be the antennas on this moth. Now once you've got all the way around selected, you can go over here and create select from path. You'll see now that that's all selected. If I want to add to that, I can push the shift key and also add to it. So I push the shift key and now I start selecting this antenna. Like I said, it's going to be kind of tough to select, and I'll click add also or select from it, and I'm going to push the shift key so I can add more and go around the edge. Sometimes it's so tight there that it actually doesn't allow much, but just a quick go around. That's how to make your selection. So I've created my selection. Before you do anything else, and I should have probably done this first, but you're going to want to create another layer. So I right-clicked on this, and I'm going to add another layer. Actually, I want to duplicate that layer, so I got two that are exactly the same. On this first layer, go ahead and double-click where it says background. That's one way to rename it, and I'm going to name this one bottom layer, and hit the return key to lock that in. And I'm going to go up to this one, and I'm going to double-click that, backspace over, and I'm going to call this my mask layer. Hit the enter key and it'll lock it in as that. Now as long as I have this up here, this is going to be my mask layer. So with that one clicked on and my selection made, I'm going to go ahead and go to create my mask. Go to layer, mask, add layer mask. This window is going to pop up like this. Make it your selection. Don't have it full wide or anything like that. Go down here and make this to your selection is what you want it to do, and then click add. You'll notice up here that I've created a blank area around it, which means that's all gone. The mask is the only thing is the butterfly within the middle of it. If I go down to my bottom layer, this is what I'm going to blur. You can also get rid of your selection by go to select and none, so you no longer see that. As soon as I click on another tool, you're not going to see these paths anymore either. So say I click on that, now all of a sudden it disappeared. But to go up to this one, my butterfly now is going to stay like it's original. The bottom layer is what I'm going to blur. So I'm going to go up to my filters, use a blur, and let's use a Gaussian blur. That's what it gives you in your directions. I want to move that over so I can see what this tip is going to be like. And it gives me a preview window here. I'm going to up that. I want it to be a little bit more blurry. I want to really notice it. This is pretty blurry. Go ahead and hit OK. You'll notice my whole background is blurred, except for my butterfly. And that's the whole assignment, is to create that separation of foreground and background. So now I can just save this one. I'm going to File, Save As, and we'll title this one Project 7. Save it as a GIMP file, an XCF file. I don't want you to turn in JPEGs here, so I can see what you've got. And then hit enter. I actually don't want to save that just yet. I'm going to cancel. I just needed to get my button back so I could save it where I wanted to. But click on the file extensions. I want to save it as an XCF file. Save it where you can find it so you'll know where to turn it in. I'm going to go ahead and save it to my Lexar. That's why I'll know where it's at. And at the bottom, you can say save. Then it'll be ready to be turned in. Do the same for another picture. Just find another picture within there and import it. I hope you'll all understand it. If you need any help, give me a call or send me an email.